I grew up playing racing and driving games my whole life, from the streets of Juice Eliminator to the combat destruction of Burnout 3 Takedown. I've always had this passion of trying racing and driving games due to the fact that I'm passionate about cars and video games. But in recent years in the gaming industry, the racing genre has been up to the mark lately by AAA developers and providing broken games one after the other. While indie developers are doing their best providing us the fun we want, I feel like racing games has been neglected in the masses. As a racing fan, I'm kinda disappointed on what's happening with the genre as of now. So in this video, I want to pitch my idea to all the game developers out there, whoever wants to take this project and make it into reality into the market. I had this concept for a couple of months now and I think it's time to talk about it. I will also give my reasoning in the end on why you should make this game. So let's begin. So this idea is basically a sandbox game based on a reality TV show called Last Car Standing, which is a mini tournament on whoever does the worst performance in a particular challenge gets eliminated and having their car picked up by the claw machine and smashed on a giant spike of shame. In this show, there are a total of 5 teams: red, blue, black, green, and orange for each episode. The show was hosted by Christian Ponteza, which most of you he voiced Chris from Total Drama animated series. This show was filmed at an abandoned Lincoln dealership, rebuilt to very resemble the junkyard in Canada. This show only had one season in 2013 and total of 8 episodes. I know this show from early days of Discovery Turbo and it was a good time. I will link the Discovery Turbo version of the trailer down below. Now for the rest of the video, I will use some footage from some of the challenges for reference as well as some other games for the stuff. Since Alaska Standing as a name has been used on Twitter and this game from itch.io, but there isn't any game based on that name on the main storefronts like Steam, Epic, PlayStation and Xbox. So maybe you can use it. Okay, let's put this way. Let's take last as a first name and standing as a surname, but the middle name is something you have to think a lot for a game title since it's paying homage to that show. Maybe the middle name should be vehicle, motor, wreck, or something like that. It's up to you. I have given suggestions on screen. If you look at the logo of the show, if you are able to make it something similar or if you have your own ideas, you can try it as well. I think it varies design by design though. If you have some expertise in certain game engines like Unity or Unreal Engine, it's totally up to you. However, the art style for this game should be similar to Trailout or Automodelista. I have some ideas on how an opening intro should be before the player gets into the main menu. So I'm showcasing some game intros for reference purpose. The first intro would be similar to Dirt Showdown where the logo slams into the ground and the camera moving around everywhere. The second one being similar to Slacker's Cuts of Glory where the 2D logo is shown at the sky and that's it. If you have any other ideas which is different than mine, you can go ahead. Before I jump onto the vehicles and its classes, I want to say that the vehicle should have real weight into it and have some amazing damage model. Since if one of the vehicle loses the round, it's going to be on the spike of shame. And that's where the damage model comes into play. Here there are 8 different types of vehicle classes: compact, boats, vans, wagons, sports, off-road, mid-size and electric. Each of these classes will have 5 cars each since there are 5 teams allowed in this competition. The vehicle design should be from 1960 to 2014 since I don't think the current era vehicle design deserves to be in this game unless you want to mod it. But for electric class specifically, it's okay for the cars like MG Comet EV, Renault R7 EV, Opel Manta EV, Honda E, VinFast VF3 and many similar cars like that to be part of the electric class. So there should be a total of 40 cars at launch. To avoid licensing issues, just makes tweaks here and there just like Rockstar Games do with their vehicle designs. Anyway, let's get to the customization. If you're familiar with games such as Concept Destruction and Crumble Zone, they have limited amounts of customization and the same will apply here. Only 5 color options will be given since there are only 5 teams, so whatever color you choose, you will be representing that team. And all vehicles will have their own stats. These levels are set in a small sandbox environment, so each level is jumping from one sandbox to the other just like Fall Guys. Now here are the challenges. The hot lap is a time trial mode where a driver has to beat the fastest time on track depending upon what number of laps is being set. If the driver has the slowest time than other teams, it gets a spike. There are different variations on the track like Now, usually when it comes to time trials in video games, you see the timer visible at the top corner. But for this mode, it's completely hidden off the screen. You as a player have to guess yourself what time you have completed. And that's where this timestamp comes into play. After you complete the lap, the timestamp will showcase the time you have done and which position you fall in the leaderboard. You will also be a spectator to see what the other opponents are doing. It will be fun to watch. Now the ramp has different variations of challenges attached to it. These challenges are used to test a vehicle's strength, power and traction. I will let the host explain in his words for each version.
In this challenge, drivers will test their beater's power and traction in a climb up a simulated icy surface at a series of escalating grades. The beater that performs the worst will be put on ice for good on the Spike of Shame.
In this challenge, cars will climb a ramp attached to a weight until that weight reaches the marker. Round after round, the weight will increase until a car gives up. You must climb to the top of the ramp attached to this point. After the starting signal, you accelerate. Once the marker is reached, I give a signal again. You stop, reverse, and the next competitor takes over, and so on, until a car gives up. The car that can support the least weight will become the weight that needs to be disposed of.
This challenge will test each 4x4's power and traction in a climb up this slippery ramp at increasing degrees of slope. The first 4x4 that can't get a grip will be impaled on the Spike of Shame. Here, drivers must use their beaters as battering rams to launch a ball up the ramp, testing each car's off-the-line handling, power, and acceleration. In this challenge, we'll test the tire traction and towing power of each van as it lifts a basket full of patio stones while driving in reverse. We'll keep adding weight until one van can't get it up.
One more point to add is, I want the driver to do a burnout first, just like in Need for Speed Pro Street drag races. It would be nice to rev some tires first before reversing.
To test each car's power and traction in a climb up the ramp in reverse at a series of escalating grades. The first mini beater that can't make the ascent will make a fast descent to the base of our Spike of Shame. In this challenge, drivers must accelerate and use their beaters to bowl a ball and knock down as many pins as possible.
And I can bet that during game testing a lot of bugs would appear. Now for the head-to-head challenge, I will let the host explain in his words for each version.
In this challenge, drivers must race up the drag strip, weaving around the obstacles to the end of the track, then all the way back in reverse, then forward and back, twice more for a total of 3 lengths to complete the round.
The drivers will reverse over the speed bumps up to the finish line. Then they will move forward to the start line. Then reverse to the 3rd flag, then move forward and so on until reaching the 4 flags.
In the timber run, Drivers must race their 4x4s over a series of treacherous timber blocks to the end of the drag strip and all the way back in reverse. Then forward to the end and back once more for a total of 2 lengths to complete the round. In this challenge, you have to drive your beater to the end of the drag strip and all the way back in reverse. Then forward to the third flag and back, and so on until you've completed one full set of lines. In this challenge, the van with the best speed and handling in reverse will prevail. Drivers must avoid the obstacles while racing to the end of the track in reverse, then turn around and drive all the way back to the beginning again in reverse. The first to complete 3 runs up and down the track moves on to the finals. In this challenge, the beater with the greatest towing capacity will prevail by dragging its 2 opponents and being the first to press the button.
This is the final challenge from the show where the last 2 drivers compete in this obstacle course. This is also time trial based. One thing to mention is that if the driver gets stuck, then they will get 1 minute penalty for the respawn. There are different layouts for this course. I think the devs had to put a lot of props and checkpoints and also to hide the time as well. Here are some of the layouts I find. Now during the podium segment, the claw machine, which is this one, have to decide among these 2 vehicles who did the poor performance. And once the claw smashes the vehicle, will determine the loser. And there will be a cutscene where the loser gets his vehicle spiked. And that's the game. Now I'm giving Battle RC game as an example for doing custom tournaments. You can participate yourself or as a spectator by selecting AI, selecting 4 different challenges and 5 opponents. The player should be able to select mixed class vehicles like compact versus off-road versus van versus sports versus electric. It will be fun to do some custom tournaments as a spectator or participating yourself to challenge the AI vehicles you selected. Even if you as a participant gets eliminated, the competition will still continue unless you want to exit the match. The music for this game is mostly instrumental, little bit similar to Streets of SimCity. I found the music playlist used in the show. You will find it in the description. You can listen it yourself and create your own versions of it. If the devs wanted to, this game should have multiplayer but up to 5 players only. As for local multiplayer, I'm thinking about this game should have 4 local multiplayer, but I think for starters it should be 2 players only. This would be round by round basis. It's up to the devs how many achievements they can add when it comes to this particular game. Now for the DLC of this game should be like just 10 card packs for $5 only. The bug fixes and other quality of life improvements will always happen. For new challenges, I think I would just leave up to the level design team. I think it's up to the devs whether they can enable modding support for this game in the future. This game should be on all platforms obviously, but I think it should start with Steam versus Early Access. Since this is a very small project, if you think this concept is very good, then I think it will take 3 to 4 years to finish. I know game development is hard, but that's just my thought. The reason I'm making this essay is because I want something new in the genre, so I decided to pitch my idea on YouTube. Also, I don't know game development. If you're going with this project, it's totally fun if you do changes in my idea, since I know there'll be talks among your teammates here and there. You don't need to follow everything I said, but I just want you to follow the source material. I'm sure players would love it. Now, depending upon the content being provided to the player, I think the price for this game should be $3 only. I know that the marketing department in the studio handles this sort of things. I just want to add that promoting your game on Reddit groups such as r slash indie gaming and r slash built from the ground up, which is racing gaming subreddit by the way, would be great. Also on Twitter, every Saturday I'm noticing hashtag screenshot Saturday and it gets trending. You can see other developers showcasing their work in progress with some screenshots. This would also help as well. I have a special message for you. I'm linking down some channels that have uploaded all episodes on YouTube so you can watch it and use it as a source material for this project. I really believe this concept is very good for any developer. This is not a festival type game like you see in other racing games. I'm hoping this video gets recommended soon or after a year later, I don't know. Maybe an indie developer would pick this up. Let me know in the comments do you appreciate this concept or not. What things do you like about Last Cast Standing show as a whole? Hit the like button and see you again with another essay. Take care.